Here are 3 energy flows that can help facilitate in raising the collective consciousness and further stability within the energy circulation within this physical form as of right now. So we got individually is what you can do by yourself as a conscious individual to help facilitate this change. So it could be like moving from low vibrational locations like Atlanta, Vancouver, Warsaw, any of those low vibrational locations that are exploiting the high vibrational locations like Africa, Latino America, and Southeast Asia, where all the resources actually are, right? So individually, it could look like, say you're a taxi driver and you're in Warsaw, right? This could look like moving and help facilitating that connection, getting rid of those borders between Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, all there. You can be a taxi driver in between there rather than being a taxi driver in a low vibrational location. You can be help facilitating that balance. Or individually, this could look like if you're a trash truck driver in a low vibration location, you're like, I see this energy, like I see how the food is unnatural here, the culture, it's really dead. So I want to move to somewhere vibrant. I want to help facilitate and clean up somewhere that has high potential for high vibrational circulatory energy. So you could be a trash truck driver and you're in Toronto. Why don't you move to Cuba and pick up trash there, because that's such a high vibrational, beautiful location, and the rest of the Caribbean. Or if you're an electrician and you're somewhere like London, you're like, this is low vibrational, this is like city, this is concrete jungle. You can be an electrician in Boricuen because there needs to be more electricians there. There need to be more trash truck drivers in Cuba. There needs to be more taxi drivers going between Zambia, Botswana. And so this is what you can do on an individual level to help heal and facilitate that, because there's a lot of herbal healers who are in places like Detroit, or they're in like Winnipeg, right? But all of the natural herbs and healing remedies are in places like Honduras, Jamaica. So to help facilitate that could be to help instill balance over there and to move there, right? So say you have no money, right? You could walk from a low vibrational place like Baltimore into Nicaragua if you wanted to, right? You could walk from Paris into Zambia if you wanted to, right? So there shouldn't be any constraints on your mind like, oh, I don't have enough of this, I don't have enough of that. You can walk, you can just move, right? So that's step 1. So local ancestral circulatory energy could be like moving the natural resources and cultures in between Jamaica, Cuba, Quisqueya, Boricuen, right, to facilitate that energetic stability and that energetic balance. So it could look like moving the quinepas and the mangos and the cocos, aguacates in between the islands, along with mixing rocksteady and ska, and mixing salsa, merengue, compa, Haitian voodoo. So all these things, they could mix, and when all these things mix together, it creates that same atmosphere that was there like during the time of Taínos, right? Even though it's still here, but in a more grand level of just the energy facilitated between the islands, right? Or it could look like moving the ancestral energy in between Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, right? So like circulating the cashews and the mangoes and all these things, and the bendre, mande, kalungu drumming, right? In between these locations. And then eventually stemming towards one Caribbean, right? You got one Latin America, one Africa, one Southeast Asia. This is where the most sustainable places for high vibrational circulatory energy actually are, right? So once they are one energy within themselves, so then that can help facilitate the third thing, which is wide ancestral circulatory energy, right? So that would be like, you would be playing like the kalungu and the bendre drumming, but you're in Jamaica, right? Or you're playing salsa, right? But you're in Indonesia. Or that's on the cultural side. Or on the natural resource side, it'd be like moving the bamboo into Burkina Faso, right? Moving the cashew from Burkina Faso into Boricuen, right? But that can only happen once there's enough within each place, right? So if Burkina Faso doesn't have enough cashews for themselves, they can't share it with the rest of the high vibrational circulatory energy places. If Indonesia doesn't have enough bamboo for themselves, they can't share it to the other places unless they have enough for themselves. But it's easily feasible, because when conscious individuals move to these locations, the higher consciousness is actually experiencing it in the physical, right? So the ideas from the collective consciousness can move into the physical form more easily and more sufficiency when the higher consciousness is in these locations. And there's plenty conscious individuals who are in low vibrational locations like listed before, that could easily move to, say you move to Manila, you move to Tegucigalpa, you move to Accra, and you move to the rest of Latin America and Southeast Asia and African cities, and then from there into the rural parts, right? So you're working with the natural land, you're working with the culture, you're working with the people to build that up. The energy being circulated is actually effective and it's sustainable, right? Because right now there's too many resources that are leaving here and going towards places that are exploiting it when everything you need is here. And the people who don't understand this, right, that energy will just die off on its own because you're already putting Lay's chips, you're putting concrete, and you're breathing in just straight up trash all day, right? If you're eating, sleeping, shitting, breathing trash, that's how life is gonna be, right? So if you really move and you work with the natural resources and you work with the cultures to try to facilitate a larger balance on a larger scale, individually you can help contribute to this. If conscious individuals literally can just walk, you can leave a low vibrational location into a high vibration one and help facilitate a new way of thinking where it's like, it's not a new way of thinking. Everyone's been saying, oh, we need one Africa, we need one Caribe, we need one Latin America, we need one Southeast Asia. But what are you doing before then and what are you doing after that, right? So these ideas have always been here, right? Everyone knows that Africa should just be one country, one currency, one passport, all that. Everyone knows this, right? But it's how do you get there and how do you facilitate that and how do you maintain that after? So before, conscious individuals can move to the rural parts and really start working with the natural resources and building up these places because they have so much more potential than where you think actually does, right? So when you begin there, then you can see, okay, now we have these consciousnesses, right? This energy, this circulatory, this local ancestral circulatory energy within these places. Then we can start to really create a more larger scale, like ancestral circulatory energy with resources, with cultures. You get me? Ya tu sabe. That's pretty much the basic gist. I probably explain more, but you can order my book, Universal Energy Balance. You can follow me on the socials and listen to my music. But yeah, I appreciate you for listening. The rest of the videos will probably not be in English. A lot of them, maybe. I don't know. But eshe ungani o alafia, salamat, kahon, feliz, man.